Welcome back, everybody. We're going to be covering Eminence in Shadow, Season 2, Episode 6, picking up right where Episode 5 left off with 664, 665, and 666, or aka Rose the Princess, meeting up with Lady Alpha and Lady Luna for the mission that they just, I guess the best way you can say is failed. They report to him about John Smith, that he completely wiped the floor with them, and that they believe that he's even stronger than the Seven Shadows. At that, Rose begs them to let her go back and have another shot taking down Mr. Smith, but 665 and 664 quickly drag her out of the conference room before she could end up getting herself killed. Now, Lady Alpha and Lady Luna, they do have a separate conversation about something that happens in the future, where kind of imply that it has something to do with Rose, but we're not really sure quite yet. All we know is that they're working towards a plan, but right now the Call of Diablo seems to be a bit out of a roadblock in their way. So that seems to be causing some issues for them. They'll have to work through in the future. But at the moment, they decide on sending Delta out to deal with Mr. Smith to just get rid of the problem because she's the most feral one, most unpredictable, so she'd probably be the one that can handle him the best. Now we get this great little action sequence between John Smith and Delta, and I mean, John Smith just wipes the floor with her, and he's about to give this great speech of how those crawl upon the ground and all that until Delta gets a good sniff of him and realizes that it's the boss. And she immediately somehow breaks through her confinements and jumps and gives him a hug. Completely underwhelming Shadow's whole Mr. Smith persona. Now, as they're having the conversation, Delta's kind of like a child mindset almost. Immediately, as soon as she realizes that this is John Smith and that she has no chance of beating John Smith because that's Shadow, she's immediately wanted to head back to Alpha to let her know, like, hey, this is the boss, we can't beat him. He's just like, hold on, hold your sorrows, just wait. This is a super secret mission yet. You can't go tell her yet. And she's just like, why not? Because it's a super secret mission. It's a great little exchange. It's just a child mindset versus the adult mindset, and she just isn't understanding. So what he decides to do is that he's going to give her a separate mission to go to the Lava City and go deal with Juggernaut in the Black Tower. And she agrees to do it as long as he agrees to do whatever she wants. And he puts some good stipulations there that if it's within my power, and as long as it doesn't cost me any money. And she just isn't listening to that. She's just like, okay, but you'll do anything I say, right? And it's just like, yes, within those stipulations. And you kind of get the sense that she doesn't fully grasp it. And you almost wonder exactly what is she going to ask of Shadow. Because the last episode, she was asking to go make babies with him and 100 different women. So you're kind of like, what are you going to ask for, Alpha? I mean, what are you going to go ask for, Delta? Keep it PG-13, okay, my girl? But regardless, he sends her out and she goes running to the Lava City to go deal with the Black Tower. Now, he does ponder and he's like, she'll be fine. She'll be back to Lady Alpha by the time springtime comes around. So everything should be fine. Now, although Shadow thinks that everything's wrapped up nicely and he doesn't have to worry about anything, Lady Alpha and Lady Luna, who sent Delta on this mission, are devastated because they think that she's now dead because they found a piece of her hair ornaments down at the scene, so they presume the body's just mangled up or it's gone or somewhere like they now need to go find it, give her a proper burial. Just completely infuriating Lady Alpha. At the same time, Luna also reports to her that the counterfeit currency has just flooded the market. It's not being able to stop now, and pretty soon people are going to just lose all trust in paper money. The whole market's about to crash. At that, Lady Alpha reports that that's exactly what John Smith was after. He wasn't after just a couple counterfeit bills, after making a couple yen. He's just going after the whole entire market, which completely shocks Luna and just fills Lady Alpha with more determination to go hunt him down. And that's where we kind of leave it there with them. We cut now over to the Corporate Alliance, and we're having kind of a similar meeting with Getten, where he's hearing from a couple of members from the cult of Diablo that are kind of threatening him, so he kills one immediately. Just like, no effort, no care, just completely just cuts that minion's head off. Now, he listens to the other one for a little bit, hearing that it was Mr. Smith and he's the one that's behind the counterfeit bills, but they're not sure where. At that, he tells his front man for the Corporate Alliance organization to hunt down Mr. Smith and where these bills are coming from, to check every single patches coming in and going out of the city. Now, at that, he mentions a very good point that the royal family isn't going to really like it. If they put any kind of restrictions like that on shipping, they're going to hear a whole heck of a noise. The Senate's not going to be happy, the Parliament's going to be happy, and to prove his point, Gideon immediately kills the other, called the Diablo. And at that, his front man immediately understands and he takes off. Now, that might have been a big mistake because that's just going to draw more attention to you. Like, I get it, you trying to figure out exactly where this is all coming from, but I guess it just really shows their incompetence or inability to track down the counterfeit bills because they should have at least figured this all out by now. Like, heck, Mitsugushi has been just laying it out there for you. They literally told you that there's counterfeit bills. They showed you everything. Like, you would think that they would put a little bit more thought into hunting down all this stuff way before this area became a crisis. But no, now they're deciding to trying to actually focus on capturing who's bringing this counterfeit bills in. I know he took it pretty lackadaisical in the last episode, but he really should have stepped up his game. But now it's going to be paying him the ultimate price. But going from here, we get a great scene going on between Alexia and her older sister Iris, where Iris bumps into her younger sister Alexia just carrying a whole massive stack of books back to her room. And Iris is kind of like, wait, what the heck are you doing in here? Like, school's closed right now. Like, shouldn't you just be inside just warming yourself up? And at that, Alexia tells her, like, oh, no. I need to go to the Great Library to get some books on mathematics, history, languages. I just really want to, keep on my studying. And at that, Iris gives her kind of a disappointed look, like, what the heck are you doing? She's like, so you're just giving up your swordsmanship and you're becoming a scholar now. And at that, Alexia gives her the great line that, no, actually, I'm still keeping up with my swordsmanship, but I need to become more. I need to be better than what I am. I need to expand my horizons so I know where I need to swing my sword, showing that she has demonstrating great growth because she tells her, like, yeah, after my experience in the last summer, I really showed where I was lacking and I need to learn better around the world. And at this, it really seems to hit Iris hard, for she immediately just abandons her sister and just walks off, just leaving her there with her books. Alexia's kind of confused. She doesn't really know what's going on, but she just leaves and goes on. Now, what really is going on here in Iris's mind is that she's still wrestling with the fact that she was beaten. She was beaten by Shadow, not by a little bit, not by a small margin, but completely decimated, which completely has shattered her confidence in herself and is making her rethink a lot of things that she's doing. And she's kind of like lost without a rudder right now. She just is still going through the motions. She hasn't found her purpose again to reshape her focus and follow a path that her sister Alexia is. So right now she's on a downward spiral and her sister is on the upward spiral of enlightenment. So it's going to be really great to see how this develops. I don't think that we see too much more of this throughout the rest of the season, but I like that dynamic that still we see that younger sister rising from the ashes of, being kind of overlooked to the older sister now as the one that's descending into darkness and having trouble to find out where she is. I really look forward to see how she is able to put herself back together and is able to rise to the top of what she once was. So I'm looking to see how they develop her character. If they do that, they may just leave her down the bottom. So I'm curious to see how they treat her character. Now from here, we get a great scene where Shadow is in his apartment and he's getting a briefing from Beta. Now, Beta is telling him about all the financial work that's going on, that they're trying to track down where all these counterfeits are coming from, but it's still a massive mess for them. So I guess I was too hard on the corporate alliance beforehand, but still, they should have been a little bit more thorough. But even if Shadow Guardian is having trouble figuring out what's going on, it's kind of just showing the limitations of both these sides to really not able to predict what Shadow is doing. So I guess we gotta give the corporate alliance a little leeway there, but I'd rather not. But it gotta be fair at least. Now, during this report, Beta also tells Shadow that Delta has gone missing, that she's gone on a mission and she hasn't come back yet. At that, Shadow just says that, oh, she just must have gone far away. And Beta, she's probably thinking that he's trying to cope with her loss, so she's just like, yeah, that's all that happened. She's just gone far away, just trying to hold together, just for the sadness of what's going to happen that she lost a sister. Now, Shadow, he's just trying to, keep things hush-hush so she doesn't know what's going on. Now, hearing the rest of his report, he stands up and she asks if he'd be willing to go out and deal with John Smith. And, of course, he's like, no, sorry, I got other things to do. And Beta's like, we can understand, we'll deal with it. And he's about to walk out the door when she said, like, hey, the notes you were taking, boss, sorry, we gotta either destroy those or encrypt those. And he shows him his encryption of Greek letters, different alphabets, whole different languages from our world, which I'm really wondering how the heck he knows. Like, yes, I know these things exist myself. I mean, I know that Arabic exists, but dear Lord, I couldn't code it. So I'm really wondering how the heck he was able to know all this languages, all this information from our world and into ours. I guess he could have been a top grade student and he could have been just really honing his abilities, but I thought it was just mostly focusing on his physical abilities to become a superhero, I thought. But that's just my misunderstanding, perhaps. Now, he does show her what he was working on in his notes, that they're all completely encrypted. He gives it to her and tells her, like, hey, if you can figure out this encryption, I'll tell you more about what I know, okay? And she's super ecstatic, and she takes it and she just runs out to start working on the coding that he does. So we'll see if she's able to break it in the next little bit here. Now, once this meeting has concluded, Shadow moves off to take on his Shadow persona, and he's now escorting another batch of counterfeit bills into the capital. Now, the Corporate Alliance, they try to put up some roadblocks to figure out who this guy is, but he just easily just destroys it with his threads, and the train continues on with no issues. Until the train meets up with Lady Alpha, who immediately launches onto the train to attack John Smith and take him out. Now, Shadow, he uses his threads to block her fighting, and they have a nice little exchange, but eventually she is able to see through all his disguises that this is Shadow, her master, that's fighting against her. And this causes deep sense of betrayal and regret, and they start to have a waylaying of, like, why did you do this? How could you betray us? What's going on? Where's Delta? And he's staying very cryptic about things. That he said that he sent Delta away, far away, and that she's taken care of. But she's just like, that doesn't tell me anything. What's going on? And all Shadow says is that once this is all over, you see this for the best. And that she just cannot accept that. She's just like, I'm not that weak. I'm strong enough. Just let me stand by you. Let me be by you. Trust me. Just really showing her raw emotions, that it's not that she just sees Shadow as this organization figure, this messiah figure. It's kind of like a man that she loves, that she just doesn't understand why he won't take her with her. And at that, she just flies into her blind rage, using her mist powers that are really actually kind of dope, that she's able to just phase through all his physical attacks until at the last point of where she has to make a solid impact with him to land a strike. She gets a few good hits on him, but in the end he uses her own ability against her, where she comes in for another blow and pierces his side. He grabs onto the weapon and then just shoots her off backwards, where she's just left in the snow, just wondering why. Why did he do this? Why did he betray him and leave him there? With Shao just standing on the train, just leaving away. Where he eventually goes and meets up with Yume, the white-tailed fox, and she reports to him that their counterfeiting process has been almost complete, that they have accumulated almost all the wealth from the capital, and that their final stroke of their counterfeiting is almost complete. The market's about to crash, inflation is rising, the capital is going to have to take a step in to save the market. It's just going to be complete chaos, and they can slip away quietly. So their job is done at this point. Now at that, she does mention to Shadow, like, so you've known since the beginning, like, I don't really care after about the money. My mission is to go out to get in. And we get the backstory of why she's going after it. So apparently, her clan is one of those weaker of the Beastkin, one of the weaker of the Threnotropes. So what they were going to do when she was younger is their spirit wolf clan, who's a weaker, was going to marry to a great wolf clan to kind of match their strengths, them on the spiritual side, them on the stronger side, so they could live in harmony. And everything looked like it was going great. Yume was really excited. She had great affection and love for Gretin, and Gretin had great love and affection towards her. So it looked like a match made in heaven, until there was a giant war that broke out between two neighboring clans that swept them up into the middle of it, that completely decimated everyone in their village. Now, as she's weeping there, crying for what has happened, it's revealed that Gretin was actually the one that was behind killing her entire family. Now, his reasoning for that is that he did it to protect her. It all was for her, supposedly. And he tells her the reason why is that she rejected his offer to join the cult of Diablo. So, in order to protect her, he slew her mother. And then he makes the offer to her as well to pledge herself to the cult, which she outright rejects, and she goes in to try to kill him to get revenge for her mother in a blind rage. Now, Geddon, he just simply sidesteps her a couple of times, and then, seeing that she won't accept his plan and pledge herself to the cult, he slays her as well. And we really get to then see the madness coming out. We're saying that if I don't take from them, they're going to take from me. And he just starts repeating this over and over until he walks away. And that pretty much concludes the vision of what we were seeing, except for we do hear a sound of blood splatter and a scream from behind, but we don't really see what caused it. With that, we get the whole story of what was going on, and now she's headed out to go meet up with Geddon to finish what she started, to finally get her revenge for what he had did to her and her entire Spirit Wolf clan. Overall, this is probably the most compact episode that we've seen so far. We got to see a fight with Delta, showing that Mr. Smith won, but keeping his cover for a little bit longer. We got to see a little bit of more development with Alexia and Iris on how the two princesses are going, how they're going in opposite directions. One becoming more well-known, more worldly, more expert on how to wield her sword and where to wield it, where her sister is still stuck in her rut and hasn't been able to find her way out. We are seeing how Lady Alpha and Luna are dealing with the loss of Delta and what they're going to go do. And we get to see Lady Alpha unleashing her full power. It was actually a really great and epic fight. Whereas we get to see Shadow, he has to go on and still deliver out on the final blows of his deception. So we get to see a lot of pieces coming out, all playing together. It was great. I can't wait to do the review for the next one, but I just want to say a fantastic episode. Now, what were some issues that I had with the episode? I kind of wish the corporate alliance would have had a little bit more to do. I know that they're not led by the smartest guy, that they're not all that great, but just a simple roadblock, I guess I was okay, but I wish that we would have got to see a little bit more from them instead of just being completely dominated by Shadow and Shadow Garden. Now, I get it. It is the Eminence and the Shadow, so it is their show, but I've kind of felt like it was almost underwhelming on what the corporate alliance was. Like, you made them sound like this giant titan that had to be taken down, but we never really got to see all that much impressive look from them. That, yes, they had their four clovers, but you easily took one out, Delta did, I should say, and Lady Luna took them all the rest out. So I guess maybe it'd be better to say that the corporate alliance was just more of a paper tiger, but I don't know, I would have preferred it just to show us a little bit more severity in that fighting. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I just completely misunderstood what's going on. That's very likely that's possible. But let me know what you guys thought. What was your favorite parts of the episode? What were you looking forward to the most? How did you see it? Was it what you expected? I look forward to hear from you guys. Leave a comment down below, leave a like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care now. Bye.